Hey guys, and welcome to the September 2013 ban list prediction video. Yeah, I thought I would have a little bit more time on this, but Vexicus4666 basically made an offer that I couldn't resist, which would have an opportunity for me to get my channel a little bit bigger with the Yu-Gi-Oh community by just, doing a video response to his video of the 2013 ban list discussion video. So, I've been contemplating and thinking, and, I think it's about time that for now we just put like a rough draft of what I believe will be switched around on the ban list. Of course, there's some nitpicky things, some honorable mentions, but pretty much I'm trying to get in Konami's head and really get into there. So, I'm going to talk about things and start moving things around. So, of course, honorable mention, we're just going to get right out of the way. Ban the freaking gateway. I'm gonna say that every single damn list. Ban the freaking gateway. They don't need the damn gateway. Like, people think that Judgment Day is the most broken spell card in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, and it just nets them too much advantage. Like, they play it, then they activate a whole bunch of spells, then they add a whole bunch of spells. Like, what? That's so powerful. Gateway pretty much gives you unlimited summons. Like, as long as you have Gateway and something else that helps Bushido counters, just go crazy, Six Samurai players. Summon as much as you want. Now, some people believe that, oh, Six Samurais don't have Gateway, there's nothing that they can do. They can't win anymore. Six Samurai players, have you won a duel without Gateway? Oh, wait, you have? What, you swarmed the field? What, you made a Shockmaster? You went to Shien? What? You have, what, Rhoda? Three smoke signals? Three dojos? Three united? Yeah. So three united. Everybody has zero pot of greeds. You have three. Yeah, you don't need the gateway, I'm sorry. And if you think I'm gonna give you something in return, no, not really, No, not gonna give you another Shin. I was in previous lists gonna be like ban gateway and give you like a smoke signal, but Konami was like, give him smoke signal anyway, go crazy with it, So, honorable mention, gateway ban. I just always say that one. If it doesn't, I won't be surprised, but if it does, then I'll be like, yay, stupid cards, go away. But we still got Judgment Day, so, but that's too new to be hit right now, so we're gonna leave that one alone. Alright, only card banned, Super Rejuve. Alright, Super Rejuve is a stupid card, and the problem is that besides in Elemental Dragons, this is not the first time that it's been stupid. Alright, I bet you guys probably don't remember, but you remember that old Exodia deck where you ran that little egg Blue Eyes card, and then you play that one card where you discard the Dragon Tuner to draw 2 cards, and then you play trade in on the Blue Eyes that you got from the little egg card. Oh yeah, and you just drew the crap out of your deck, remember that? And then you activated Super Rejuve, and all those dragons that you discarded, the egg and the Blue Eyes with the trade-ins, yeah, after all of that, draw a card for that. Yeah, so this isn't the first time Super Rejuve's done something stupid, but now since Elemental Dragons have just been derping the hell out of this card, it's time for this card to go. Just using one of the baby dragons to discard itself and another dragon, then activating this card, that's already pot of greed. Because you pretty much draw 2 cards for activating 1 Super Rejuve. Pot of greed. And another thing is, it's a quick play spell, so if I happen to activate Super Rejuve, draw, and then during my phase, draw into Super Rejuve, I could play it and draw some more. And play it and draw some more. It's really a stupid card, and I think that it's a core card in, the Elemental Dragon deck, and it just derps the hell out of the deck even more. As a person who plays the Elemental Dragon deck in my daily duels on Friday, and I'm using the deck and starting to understand it, Super Rejuve is kind of like a key card. Like, just having Super Rejuve in your hand just makes the hand just so much better, and this card is just derpy and it just doesn't need to be here. You really can't hit none of the dragons, they're too new. They can keep their Gold Sark, if they want a Gold Sark, search for a dragon, remove from play a dragon, search for a dragon, that's perfectly fine, because you know what, keep in mind, that dragon was used for the turn. So you don't have to worry about that dragon doing anything, that particular dragon. Let's say they Gold Star for Blaster and search for something. Blaster can't be used anymore. You can only use one of its effects once per turn, so that's okay. The same thing with the sword, Sure, they draw 2, remove from play the dragon, and they search once again. They remove from play the dragon, they search for the dragon is used up. Super Rejuve has nothing to do with the interaction with the dragons at all. It really doesn't have to do with the interaction with the deck at all. As long as you do the baby plays, Super Rejuve can go off, and really, you don't need it. So, let's ban Super Rejuve. That's pretty much all with the banned cards, so we're gonna hop right into the limited cards. Of course, this is for some of my viewers, Acrobatic Monkey. For those of you who don't know about my channel and just coming from VexiKids466 video, pretty much every time I do a ban list video, I use Acrobatic Monkey as a spacer. And the first time I did it, people were like, "Why are you banning Acrobatic Monkey?" or such like that. So for those of you who jump on my butt and be like, "Why are you banning Acrobatic Monkey?" He's just a place filler, alright? But no, ban Acrobatic Monkey. He's broke. Look at that defense. 1800? That's too damn high. I'm just kidding. Alright, so we're gonna get on with limited. So, first thing limited. I think Spellbook of Secrets, like I said, Judgment Day is too new. And Spellbook of Secrets is kind of like the searcher card that leads up into the Judgment Days and such, you know? Everything just starts off with the secret, you know? Even, it's just like, sometimes it's like secret into magician into something else. But generally, things start with the search with the secrets, and I feel like secrets is the one that should be hit. You know, you can argue with magician as well, but you know, magician, I got you to normal summon, it could be veil, or you know, like, my excuse is not the evidence of absence is not the absence of evidence, sure, but I don't want to hit prophecy so hard that the deck is unplayable. I'm just saying, you know, they can keep their judgment at 3. You know, some decks don't even play 3, so, you know, but keep that at 3. You know, it's only as good as the spell cards that you get. So, and one of the key plays is to use your secrets. You know, one of the key plays is to go judgment. Okay, let's go. Start playing spell. Secrets. Get masters. Master. Copy the secret. So that's already 2. So, you know, Judgment Day is only as good as the spell cards you can activate, and one of the best cards you can activate is secrets. So I feel by limiting secrets down to 1, it'll limit the, you know, the possibility of getting Judgment Days, and it'll just, you know, limit their plays, and, you know, they'll probably pull through, and, you know, if secrets is not enough, you can obviously address it in March, which is pretty much, March lists are just, you know, patches for what wasn't completely corrected in September. So I think just secrets would be enough. I always say Rekindling to 1. I just think it's kind of like the stupid broken card. I mean, I don't believe that in the March 13 prediction. I don't believe that I said this because I felt like Konami was still making their money before, you know, that list was here. Decks like Fire Fist and Fire Kings were coming out, and, you know, they really didn't want to hit Rekindling. Lavals, you know, were coming out, and, you know, they wanted to definitely make their money off of that. And, you know, I feel like that time is gone. I thought that time had gone away now, and, you know, they could hit Rekindling and realize that, you know, it's a really broken card. Like, everybody has a Monster Reborn, but these guys have revived as many with 200 defense, and generally the cards that say as many are, you know, limited to 1, you know, Ultimate Offering, Return from the Different Dimension, you know, Rekindling. You know, it just seems like one of those cards that it's your game winner, and pretty much those other 2 are like your game winner. So you do all your plays, and, you know, if you get your 1 Rekindling and you win the game, then okay, you're lucky, you got lucky. But when you have 3, it's kind of like, just, this is bull. Like, why do you get this and I don't got nothing? But, you know, now since with Yaksha and Chicken and you know, Wolf Bark, it's kind of hard to tell if Konami is really going to hit this to, you know, to 1, you know. So if this gets hit to 1, I'll be, you know, satisfied, but if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm going to take this and put it on the honorable mention list. Other limited, Big Eye, yeah, definitely Big Eye definitely needs to be limited. You know, it's getting really retarded with the whole Big Eye Wars. You know, it has its own freaking meme. You know those exhibit memes? Like, you know, you like something, like something, like something, like something. Yeah, Big Eye has one. So I heard you like Big Eye. So I'm gonna Big Eye your Big Eye so I can Big Eye with your Big Eye. And you know what? That makes total sense. And you know what? These whole Big Eye Wars is just stupid. Big Eye is a powerful card, yes. Should it be banned? No, because once again, it can be stopped. And once again, evidence of evidence, not the absence of evidence. Or I kind of said that weird, but you get the point. But, you know, it's a powerful card. You know, it used to be $15. No one paid it, no mind. But as the decks have gotten better, and the top tier decks have gotten more level 7s, going to rank 7s, including Elemental Dragons, it kind of seems like this card should definitely just be limited to 1. You know, you get that one time to take one of your opponent's monsters, and, you know, pretty much the person who goes in big eye first gets punished, because it's a mirror match, and the first person goes big eye, then the other person go big eye and take your big eye and use your big eye. But that's it. No more of this big eye war. It's getting really stupid. Alright, another card that I think maybe can get limited to 1 is Evil Swarm Ophion, and I feel like Ophion should be limited to 1 is because it doesn't promote new play, Konami likes to, go with the new and push back the old, and this guy is definitely just hindering that possibility and hindering what Konami can do, because they can't really make decks because they'll just get stepped on by Evil Swarm. So pretty much at this point, Konami is kind of contemplating like, hey, we can make this deck that summons up a whole bunch of level 9s, and be like, oh, but no, that deck won't be competitive because Ophion will just stop them. And if the deck's not competitive, no one's gonna buy it. It's pretty much the same situation with Future Fusion, where pretty much Konami was limited with what fusions they can make because Future Fusion would just break the hell out of it. So once Future Fusion went away, the vice grip was let off on Konami and they were just free. So I feel like hitting Ophion will, free them to do more things and not, have such a vice grip on the meta, and, what decks that you can play, because, if you summon level 5s or higher, then, special summon level 5s, then you are doomed to just lose continuously to Ophion. And then, do you really want that? No, I'm not saying that Ophion should be banned and, just turn off the Evil Swarm deck. Sure, it's a good anti-meta call, but to an extent, I feel like if the newer decks who can, or the older decks who can, rely on special summon level 5s, if they can figure out a way to get around Ophion, then you know what? They shouldn't have to deal with it anymore. If they had to just struggle at the beginning and they got around with it, then you know what? Congratulations. You have earned your ability to duel, a fine duel, and actually, compete against this deck. So I feel that Ophion should be the limited one. Some people say that it should be Pandemic, but you know what? There's a way around Pandemic. Pandemic is just their card, If they weren't running Pandemic, then maybe they were just running Lance, And it's really not just a solution to just hit Pandemic and leave Ophion alone. It's definitely Ophion, and Ophion can search for the Pandemic, that's understandable, but you can get around it. There's cards like Grand Mole, DD Warrior, Lady, and Warrior himself. So, you can get around Ophion and his Pandemic if you really try. But, Ophion definitely does not promote new play, and I feel like, yeah, definitely he should be the one to be limited. Alright, so we're going to go semi-limited now, so we got the Acrobatic Monkey as our spacer once again. So, semi-limited. I say TG Striker. TG Striker can go up to 2. I know some people think that TG Striker can just jump up to 3, but Konami's not really the one to just throw things at, to 3. I mean, Sukiyami wasn't doing anything, and Sukiyami just went 2. I mean, look, when we first saw, Spore, we're like, oh yeah, Spore can come off, and Konami's like, yeah, you know what, Spore can come off to the ban list 1. Despite that Spore can only be used once per duel, they still said 1, because they want to test the waters first. So, test the waters with TG Striker, put it to 2, see what it does, and then slowly release it to 3 if it can do it. So, check out what it does next format. Just test the waters, Now, other cards that I was thinking about, and I was like, yeah, honorable mentions, Mizuki, but then Mizuki had a loop, and I didn't know that, but now I do know that he kind of has, this loop, so I was like, okay, I'm sorry, zombies, but, keep your Mizuki, then 1. Then I was like, Lone Fire, but then plants, and you know how much Konami hates plants, so then I was like, sorry, plants, you get some new synchros and a new Xyz, try it with that, and we'll come back to you maybe in March, so, yeah. Can I think of anything else? Oh, Bastari, no. Bastari, no. Just no. In my opinion, just no. Leave that alone. Alright? Last thing we need to do is for freaking Gladiator Beasts to just dominate the format with their stupid popping out of the head. Because, Gladiator Beasts love to just pop their head out after every format. Every first day of the ban list, the first freaking regionals or whatever. A few freaking Gladiators will rise up and be like, this is our format! And they try every time. And you know what? Just leave it alone, Bastari is just kind of like the card. It's not Bastari himself, it's Geysers, and, just the point. It's just stupid, If you really wanted to do it, you probably could do it. So, just leave Bastari at 1. No 2 for him. I really can't think of anything, if you guys have any other cards that I, can't think of off the top of my mind, go ahead and respond to me in the comments, but for as of right now, I really can't think of anything, so yeah. So just for right now, Cheetah Striker 2. Don't want to move too many cards, because, you know, Konami's not really known for just moving a crap ton of cards. So that's our only semi-limited. And unlimited tour guide! Please release tour guide! I know what you guys are saying, but if you really sit down and think about it, if you really think inside your head, why is tour guide semi-limited? Because of Sangan. Then Sangan was banned. And now we just have 2 tour guides that maybe can, you know, help themselves, and maybe a tour bus, but you know what, they just pretty much just go tour guide, into something, and that's pretty lame play. And you know what, if you draw both tour guides, haha, you just wasted a draw. That's dumb. So I feel like tour guide can just go up to 3 and no one would care. You know, if you want to make a tour guide, tour bus, whatever deck, go ahead, more power to you. But tell me, are there any meta decks right now that play tour guide right now? What, Dino Rabbit? Oh, okay, sure, whatever. Yeah, tour guide can go up to 3, and I don't think anybody would really care. And the last card to go up to 3, Sukiyami. You know, whatever. You know, Sukiyami was banned at one point, and, you know, when we really sat down and thought about it, we're like, why is this card banned yet? Book of Moon is here with us. Oh yeah, so those of you who said Book of Moon 2, no. Book of Moon is a very powerful card, and it's still just a really awesome card. I don't know why some people don't even play it. You know, you can definitely stop plays, and it's just like kind of like the off switch. And you know, Book of Moon, people will play Book of Moon at whatever Book of Moon is at. If Book of Moon went to 2, people would play 2. If Book of Moon went to 3, people would play 3. If Book of Moon went to 7,000, people would play 7,000. All right, you don't need it. Book of Moon at 1, it's a powerful card, and in my opinion, it's up there. You know, some people say the trio, but in my opinion, you know, it's the quadrio? I don't know the phrase, but you know, you get what I mean. You know, Monster Going Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Book of Moon. You know, even above frickin' Mind Control, you know, so, yeah, Book of Moon. It's that one. But Sukiyami went up to 1, and people are like, well, I'm gonna play Sukiyami. And then they tried it, people are like, I'm gonna side Sukiyami. And then people are like, Sukiyami, get out of my side deck, you're taking up space, I don't got time for you. And then Sukiyami went up to 2, and Konami was like, hey, Sukiyami's at 2, you gonna play it now? And everybody's like, eh. And then Prophecies were like, well, it's a spellcaster, well, I'll try it, and then Prophecies are like, never mind. So, you know what, just bring it up to 3, now people are saying, like, oh, empty jar deck, well, you know what, forget it, you know, it's not like empty jar decks are really topping, and if this helps them top, then more power to them, you know, if the empty jar decks can take out Elemental Dragons, and everybody starts playing empty jar, then, you know what, now we got a new person to, you know, turn our anger against, because you know the top decks, they always get dagger shot at them. So if the empty jar decks can turn it around and make them the most hated deck in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, then more power to them. I don't care. But you know, Sukiyami to 3, I just feel like sure, why not? So that's pretty much it. Not a lot of cards were moved. I hope this video wasn't too long, but like I said, I wanted to sit on this for a little bit longer, but I just couldn't pass up this deal. You know, I'm a Yu-Gi tuber, and if Vexicus466 will offer me an opportunity to, you know, just get my channel up there, all I have to do is just do a video response, banlist video response, you know, I'll just get out there. It's been a cool minute since I've done anything with Vexicus466. For some of you who don't know, I think it was my 200 sub video. I did a deck profile with a certain Yubel deck, and for a bonus, I happened to be on YGO Pro or Deck Pro, and I happened to actually duel Vexicus466. He was using Photons, and you know, I happened to beat him because, you know, Photons were kind of weak when it came against Yubel back then. I'm not sure if he had Tachyon, but the point is that that's the last time, you know, I was ever associated with Vexicus. So having this opportunity to get my channel out there and show that, hey, my channel's not that big, but I'm still a Yu-Gi tuber, and if you want to come over here and, you know, just watch my content, that would be awesome. You know, I have a series called Daily Duels, where each day I duel with a different deck, and, you know, of course I have the meta decks. You know, I duel with Mermails, I duel with Elemental Dragons, I duel with Spellbooks, you know, and, you know, I just test them out, because, you know, you gotta use the best to learn the best, and, you know, as I slowly get better and I start to learn holes in the decks and, you know, exploit their weaknesses, and maybe one day I can maybe top regionals or YCS, just, you know, just by knowing the decks, you know. But I'm not really known to be a meta player, so you know, just trying out the decks. So, you know, if you guys want to come over here, I'm Daily Daniel, and as you can tell, my name is Daniel, And daily, I post things daily, so I'm an entertainer. I have over 800 videos on my channel, and you know what? I post daily, and that's just my thing. So every day you'll get Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what? Screw it. I don't even care. You guys saw it already. If you need to go back, go ahead and go back and pause it. But I need to finish talking. So, if you guys can just be so grateful as to come over to my channel, watch my content. Like I said, Yu-Gi-Oh! Every day, daily duels. And, I just do other things. Pokemon, I do Rogue Legacy, and, I just love being an entertainer. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me rant about the ban list, and I hope you guys, just think a little bit with, my opinion on what the ban list will be. And if you guys have any questions or opinions, or you just want to have a conversation, go ahead and post in the comments, and I will respond as quick as possible to everybody who needs to be responded to. So thank you for taking the time to watch this, and, just come over and check out my channel. Thanks for watching.